Hi guys, it's Joey Rowan, and this is this week's video about how to honour the goddess through the element of fire, or spirit or deity, through the element of fire anyway. And a little bit of information about the element of fire, a little bit of thoughts about it. This will be the talky video. I will endeavour to make a picture video like the other elements have had, so that's what this is going to be about. Firstly, sorry it's taken a little while. Isn't it funny? In the run up to Yule, everything goes you're just so busy with everything, and before you know it, the weekend's gone. So this is a little bit late, but we will endeavour to do me, myself, and I will endeavour to do this video and the water video this week, and maybe the spirit video this week as well. We'll see how we get on. So this is about the element of fire. The element of fire is probably my favourite. I hesitate to use the word favourite, but element to work with. And I think everybody has a primary element which they feel most comfortable, or maybe two that they feel really comfortable, and then the other two they use a little bit less. And it's important to try and balance that out a bit more so that you do try and work with all the elements within yourself and without. So within in the meditative sort of state, and then without with spell magic and honouring magic. Because the balancing of the elements within yourself and without is key. Whilst it is fully possible to work with one element for a particular purpose, it can be imperative, really important, to balance the elements within yourself and in your life. Now, within yourself is sort of the emotions and parts of yourself that are governed by each element. So fire, for example, is given to the realm of passion, of action. Often exercise can be considered a realm of fire, to sort of off-balance eating well, which it would be earth, and you could consider some activities earth-based. Exercise in general could be considered fire, because you're burning calories, you are burning energy, you are raising your temperature, you're getting warm, you're getting active, and you're getting presumably and hopefully passionate about what the activity is that you're doing. So why I really enjoy the element of fire is, for me, it's a bringing together element. The element of fire cannot exist without fuel and oxygen, earth and air, which is nice. And it also works well with water, as long as they are within balance, you know. Then you have a hot bath, or you boil some water, cup of tea, cup of coffee, couldn't live without them, you know. So I think that's really wonderful, how it brings together all the elements. Also, it brings together people. Quite often, like the hearth is supposed to be, or used to be, the centre of the home where people would crowd around when it was cold, and bonfires to this day still do that. You have a little fire outside and people will congregate. It's just like this innate thing that we all go to the fire and we're all warmed by it and the light from it, and I love the smell as well. I can't get over it. And then things like birthday candles and things like that on a cake, it brings people together. And for me, there's something truly magical that just taps into my soul about the element of fire. It happens with me as well with earth, like with herbs and trees and going outside. But fire is my go-to element for magic, in particular. So yeah, so the forms of magic that are within the fire family, if you like, burning off negativity in a number of ways is such a cleanser. First of all, you've got things like smudge bundles. Now this is the integration of earth and fire for a smudging ritual, and air with the smoke as well. And that is true of most, if not all, fire magic, because it requires something to burn and the oxygen. So your smudge stick is the burning of sage or a multitude of herbs, and that putting that fire in those herbs to release the energy and the smoke and to help funnel your energy to cleanse. Also, one of my favourite ways of burning off negativity is to write a list or one thing in particular, to cross it out. All you need for this would be a piece of paper, a black pen preferably, because black is counteractive with negativity, and a safe place to burn the paper, so your cauldron or heat-proof pot. And you just write down whatever it is, you cross it out saying it has no power over you. I fold it up 3 times, by Maiden, by Mother, by Crone, and then I set fire to it and let it burn away. And I'm safe in the knowledge that as it burns it off, it is burning the effect, it is getting rid. And fire is fantastic for that. It just boomph, it just gets rid of negativity like that. And then of course you have one of my favourite things in the world is candle magic. I make my own candles, as you know, which is a whole experience into itself, which I highly recommend if you have even the slightest opportunity to do. It's not too expensive. Most expensive thing is probably getting new moulds. But you can buy, of course, a whole array of candles ready-made. You can get tea lights, which work fine. You can get big pillar candles. You can get scented candles. You can get proper spell candles, as they're called, and they're usually about, I should have got some out, but never mind. They're usually about that big, and they come in an array of colours. So candle magic goes from the basic innate things which you might not even think about. So scented fire candles, for example, can uplift your mood, can change how you feel, can it's the incredible world of scent on the human psyche and the human brain and on the human mood. They say that certain scents can make you remember things. So for example, the scent of pine always takes me back to being in the south of France. I was going to say Italy, thinking of Lake Garda. Maybe there was Lake Garda. Anyway, on this camping holiday, I think that was actually south of France, and those huge pine trees. And certain scents take me straight back to being in my grandmother's kitchen. My sister came around Halloween and Samhain, and I had cooked a roast dinner, and she said the scent was so close to what it used to be in my grandma's house with my homemade stuffing that it freaked her out a little bit. Bless her. So the scent within candles can uplift, can relax, like a lavender I wanted to say calendar. It's not a calendar. A lavender candle can relax you. A citrus candle would uplift. Certain types of candle can do all sorts of jobs, like the citrillo ones, they deter bugs. All sorts of scented candles can do all sorts of things, and the stereotypical image of a woman relaxing in the bathtub, and she'll have candles, maybe scented, maybe not, in the bathroom, and it can be a really beautiful spiritual purification process to have a purifying bath and then some purifying candles, as long as of course you are careful and safe, which I will touch on in a minute. Other candles, such as proper pure spell candles, can be a fantastic way to tackle tackle any type of magic. You may wish to incorporate other things, and I usually try and balance every element within a spell, which to me is an important part of the spell itself. Just because you are doing candle magic doesn't mean you shouldn't incorporate earth in the form of herbs, dressing a candle. You could incorporate water. I don't know how you would actually incorporate water. Maybe purifying. Maybe just putting a little bit in the mix. Salt. There you goes. I mean, technically earth, it's an earth thing, but it's also a water thing, the balance of something. So you put some salt in your dressing. I'm not awake yet, you'll have to forgive me. Air is everywhere in the smoke from the candle, of course. And then herbs dressing, air, a bit of salt for water, and then the spirit is within and without. So you use candles in all forms of magic because you can colour coordinate. Red is the element of fire, the colour of and other colours like that, so orange and yellow, and they're all very dynamic colours: fire, passion, love, action, oomph. But you can easily use a green candle for prosperity magic. You could use a white candle for anything, a black candle for getting rid of negativity, a purple candle for honouring spirit or goddess, a yellow candle for intellect, for air, and a blue candle for healing, for example. You then anoint it with appropriate herbs, you fill it with your intent. I always visualise them glowing white and getting brighter and brighter and brighter, and then go beak, and then they're done. That's how I do it. And then you put a fire in, and then you recite words if you wish, and you just visualise it coming to pass. And most candle spells will tell you to either burn it right down and then throw away the remains in a certain way, or once it goes out by itself it's done, or to wait for an X amount of time, or to burn it over several days. You can get the 7-day candles that are usually knobbed or whatever. Other forms of things you can use to represent fire, as well as candles, things in magic forms, is things that I've come into recently, which are volcanic salt and volcanic sand. Sand you could technically take from anywhere if you wanted to, because it's sort of intermediary between earth and fire. But the volcanic stuff in particular, the volcanic salt and the volcanic sand, has that real fire pump from the volcano, has that extra dynamic, has that extra fiery spark that helps get the magic going, if that makes sense. Then of course there is sun magic, and a lot of people mention drawing down the moon, in which you draw down the energies of the moon and the goddess and honour her and take her into yourself, and sort of ignore drawing down the sun, which is the same but with the god. And I think it's important to recognise that whilst the balance of it, the balance of drawing down the moon and drawing down the sun, and all sorts of sun magic. Sun can make us feel better, it warms us, it gets the endorphins going, it helps things to grow. So honouring the god in the fire aspect might sometimes be slightly easier than honouring the goddess, although you can honour both with every element and all elements. Obviously I've mentioned colour magic within fire already. So I think, I forgot, a different type of magic you can use too is wax. This is something that I have a natural affinity for, and that is wax shaping. And I like, you can do like poppets out of wax, you can do figures in wax, you can do shapes in wax, you can do anything. And what I do is I use a long silver taper candle, and I just drip it. And I drip it into the shape that I want, and build it up and build it up and build it up. And when I'm half done, I stop and I lay appropriate herbs on top, and then I carry on dripping wax on to make the finished thing. And you could do this as a really good way for purifying yourself, use purifying herbs within. You could do it for healing, so you do it and put for yourself, or if somebody has asked you for help, you can do it this way and put healing herbs in and then seal them on top with more wax. And I will endeavour to make a healing puppet on the picture video to show you how I do that and how that looks and how that works. I also shape candles, as you know, and there's something really magical about fire magic. It's just the human nature to be attracted to fire. It just keys in, and I think it's a wonderful, wonderful element to use. So I think I have covered everything apart from the need for balance and respect. This is true of all elements. You should always treat every element, especially when you're using elements to honour deity, with a great amount of respect and caution. But fire is arguably the most so, because fire can go quickly and easily wrong. It's why you should always use a heat-proof pot. It's why you should always use a candle holder. It's why you should never leave a candle burning unattended. This is a destructive force. The element of fire goes from the little teeny candles to the great big forest fires. It's a creation element. It creates a sense of warmth, and you can use it to cook and all the rest of it. But it's also a destructive element, and it has the complete balance of both. This can be said for all elements. All elements can either create or destroy, but fire is the most easy to tip the scales if you are not treating it with the proper honour and respect that it deserves. So the power of the element of fire is always something to treat with caution and respect, and honour that there's a reason that the element of fire comes into the realms of fighting and war, as well as hearth and home. So it's worth bearing in mind that when you are using utilising the element of fire, it can be a really, really strong ally, but it can be a really effing terrible enemy. So do not treat it with anything but the utmost respect. That is true of all elements, but fire is the most easy to offend, if you like. So treating it with a good amount of caution and respect is important. So that is going to be it for the talkie video for fire. I shall endeavour to put together the picture video now. That'll probably be this evening or tomorrow morning, depending on when I can get it finished and get it uploaded, because YouTube's been a bit crazy. So that is it for this video. Many blessings.